build one of the fastest growing businesses in the UK, a £13 million business in Plantmade. If someone's watching this at home, they've clicked on this video, what do you hope they take from you, your story, and the conversation that you and I are about to have?
I think when it comes to just people building anything, it is a tumultuous journey. But at the end of the day, it was the biggest personal development journey I've ever been on. And I do believe business is one of those things where it refines you over time and does also hold a mirror to who you are and some of the changes you need to make to yourself. So I think the business made me into who I am for the better. I feel like I am a better person to go into the next phase of my life. I'm like turning 30 next year. And, I feel like I had been refined for that next step, for like my next ambitions. And I feel like with everything, I did this scared. I did this embarrassed. I did this not knowing anything, with no one in my corner for some time, and with many doubters, to be honest, whether it was visible to me or not. And I just want to implore everyone that you can categorically change your life with your mind and your actions, and you don't need permission to attempt to build. You can just do it because you feel like it. That's my story. My story is just do it because, do it in spite of everything, whether you're an immigrant or whether you're a female founder or whether, you have other kind of liabilities in your life. Like, you can do whatever you want because you said so.
Yeah. I love it. You know what? I was thinking about this before. I have such a respect for you, not just because of what you've built, but also I feel like you're this sort of person, you are yourself in every room you walk into, like authentically 100% yourself. And I think that that's rare. That's not always the case. And so before we get into your story, I kind of just wanted to understand who and what were some of the early influences in your life. Like, you're so authentically yourself. Who kind of built that? Who shaped that?
Do you know what's funny? I can't say it was. I can't say there's someone that was so unapologetic that showed me to do the same. I think it's maybe anti my culture, to be honest, which is the reason why I became who I am. I'm Ghanaian. We're very, calm people. I'm the youngest of 4. So it's very much listen to everyone and do as I say vibes. And I just think I'm in my spirit, I'm a rebel, but I'm a quiet rebel. I'm not I don't cause too much trouble, but I'm I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that. And there were a lot of things people wanted me to be. There was a lot of molding people attempted to do. I think about my parents and certain things my mum wanted me to play the flute. And so I did flute lessons for a while. And I was I hate this instrument. I just stopped. And my mum wanted me to play piano. And I was I like the piano, but now it's legitimized. I don't like this. So I just stopped. And then I just picked up the guitar to piss her off. And I just self-taught myself guitar. I just am a bit of a rebel. I just don't do the thing people tell me I need to do. I'll just do the opposite. But I don't know where I categorically don't know where it came from. I just think I have the younger FU spirit, the youngest FU spirit in me.
Yeah.
It's just it's still quiet, it's still demure, but it's there.
Yeah. You know what? I think anyone that has African or just even immigrant parents, your parents always have an aspiration or a vision for who you're going to be and who you're going to become.
Yeah.
To rewind, coming out of university, you get a job in recruitment. And
hated it.
when I actually even before this and speaking with you and learning about your story, I actually think the Plantmade story starts with you getting fired from that recruitment job. Can you give people that context?
Yeah. So post-uni, I know I'm not going to go into psychology. I love it though, but I fell in love with marketing and business. So I started to freelance do some freelance copywriting here and there, got some gigs. It was cool, but it wasn't consistent. It was about a year after I graduated, and my mum was like, babes, you can't be jobless here forever. So get a job. And I was like, babes, you're killing my vibes. I'm supposed to be on an abundance mindset. Like, I'm getting these clients. I'm like smashing out an entrepreneur, you know? No, we were not successful. So I bit the bullet and I was like, okay, at least the job that I get, let it allow me to refine my skills, push myself further, develop. So I thought sales, why not? You're going to be ruthless. You're going to be able to take rejection. You're going to be more resilient. Recruitment comes around 6 months of hell. They put me in the hardest market. They were like, you'll be fine. Left me for dead. I was making calls, 100 calls a day.
Wow.
4 hours on the phone. Rejection. But it did really refine me. And really it did allow me to have like even though this is uncomfortable, gonna do it anyway, really help build that like foundational mindset of just being put down so many times. What entrepreneurship would eventually teach me. Once I got fired, I was like, so this was all a lie. This whole security thing was all a lie because I didn't do anything. Like the first time I'd heard bad news about me in that job was that day. Okay, the world is a lie. And this kind of fallacy of like security is not there. So then, well, I can do whatever I want then. And then COVID happens and then seeing all the businesses boom and all of that stuff, it was just like, it was such just a mind shift of, anything is like up for grabs now. Everyone's doing everything now. Okay, cool. Like, let me join in. But I wasn't building Plantmade at the start. I was doing my little hair oils for myself, but I was actually building a men's skincare brand that never saw the light of day. Yeah.
You know what? You had a tweet. I found your
Oh
Twitter
God,
account.
no,
Great.
not trigger fingers.
Some great things on your Twitter account. You said my brand is one of the fastest growing businesses in the UK. However, it started with £100 in lockdown. I was unemployed. I didn't have a plan. I just wanted to help people with plant power. Kind of talk through the origin. Yeah, it's a great tweet. That's why I got it down.
I was like, I hear it.
Some of your best work. Talk me through that context. It started with £100 in lockdown.
Yeah. You're
You're unemployed. There's no plan. I just wanted to help people with plant power. What does that mean?
So a few things were happening around the time. With COVID, I think it was just a bit of a mind like shattering experience. I think we all can agree we were just like, okay, the world is ending. That was very like, wow, it's a very scary time, but also like very liberating time. It's like when things like that happen, it's like, oh, you only live once. And like, okay, even if I'm here for a few days, like let's make those few days count. But also I was like really tapping into like David Attenborough. I know it's like, what? But David Attenborough was like a real inspiration for the brand as well. I was just watching like loads of nature documentaries and, you know, responsibility to the planet and like making sure that we're using resources that are not killing the planet, but aiding the planet. You know, renewable resources and plant power will always be that because things of the earth will always be able to go back to the earth. So I was like, okay, sustainability is now really becoming a part of my identity and making sure I'm trying to be responsible for the world that we're on. And then made this formula that's like working for my hair and it's plant powered and also tapping into my African heritage, but also like other cultures who live off the land. So you've got, you know, Southern Asians, like Indians, Pakistanis, specific herbs, learning about their philosophy. South Americans, they have their own herbs and rituals that they do for their hair and self-care. And just melting that into like what the brand was initially. So me and my brother, we split £50 each for an Amazon order of all these herbs and oils. And I was mixing it in the kitchen and he wanted to grow his beard. I wanted to grow my hair. And that is the inception. Like, we were both seeing results. I just happened to post a picture on Instagram and people saw it and people were like, oh, I want some of that. So yeah, that's like an amalgamation of the inception.
I love the origin story because it's one of those classic stories where like, what's the phrase? You were scratching your own itch. Like it was a problem that you were having in your life. Like you were just solving a problem that you had. Talk to me. So you post that on what, your Instagram or
Yeah.
your Twitter?
Yeah, Instagram stories, yeah.
And so it's what, just your friends or like people are seeing it and asking you about it?
So I posted it and then people were, so my friends, I remember the friends, they were like, oh, like what is this? And I was like, okay, cool. Like buy all these ingredients and do all of this stuff. And they were just like, no, like we're not doing that. So I was like, okay, cool. Someone asked me to like sell it to them. Like anyone else want it? And then I just got actual strangers or friends of friends messaging me about this hair oil. I was like, oh, okay. I priced it at £10. I put it out there. We sell 100 bottles in 10 days. We make £1,000 from that £100.
Wow.
That is what happens.
Yeah. You know what? Take me back to that moment. Because at that point in time, I get that you've sold so much now, like millions of pounds worth of product that like the 100 bottles seems like inconsequential, but that first 100 bottles is always the most significant because it's like building a belief.
Absolutely.
Can you talk me through, you sell those 100 bottles, what is the emotion in your household?
Number one, like, what the hell is she doing in the kitchen? Like, my mum's like, what is going on here? Like, babes, I'm just trying to cook jollof, like, get out my way. And I'm like, I actually like stumbled across this like thing, okay? But I think it was just like, oh, I just thought about this thing and I made it and it's like, people want it, like, whoa. But I'm not new to this. Like, I used to sell ebooks. I used to sell digital products. I used to sell my mind. I used to sell consulting. I used to do all of that stuff. So it's not like that was the first time someone had ever paid me for something. But product just felt different. Like, you know, I created something that people wanted and people were sharing it, but then also people were seeing results. Like that 100 people really were an investment into my belief system of creating with your hands. That was the first time I'd created with my hands. Before it was just my mind. And I love that physical manifestation of just like what's in your head can come to life. And like that's now living in someone's house and someone's applying the thing that you created. Like that's spiritual to me. Like that feels like you're tapping into like your God ordained like mission, you know, like
purpose.
You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely think creation of any sort is tapping into that God like mission. Like that is the vibe. And I felt so much alignment at that point, and I was just jumping with joy because I was like, oh, finally. I feel like this means something because I just didn't feel like my life meant much before then.
You know, I think about what you mentioned with the recruitment job and how like misaligned you felt in that job and how like underestimated, just not acknowledged, not valued. And then you contrast that with you kind of build this product almost by accident. You end up selling it, first 100 orders, and you feel deeply aligned from the beginning.
And you know what's funny? Like right before I got fired, I had a panic attack, a really bad panic attack in my now husband's house, family house. His mom had to like get me, and I was like, this is so embarrassing because like, I mean, my mother-in-law is amazing, but like I didn't know her as well as I do now. It's like 5 years ago. So I was just like, this is embarrassing that we're just in your house breaking down like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But that was how misaligned I was. I was like my mental health was in the bin. And I couldn't believe how important alignment was for me in my work. Like I have to be aligned in my work or I just can't. Like that's what I got taught then. It's funny, a similar experience happened before, you know, me and my business broke up. But the contrast as well with the Plantmade inception as well is that I saw a video of this girl in America similarly making handmade cosmetics, skincare, and making $1 million in 8 minutes. And I was just like, wait, what? She made $1 million in 8 minutes. Like she had her Shopify up. It was like an hour-long vlog. I watched it probably 15 times. I was just like, I can't believe this is at the same time I'm plotting this. I'm like, this is not a coincidence. And then Madam CJ Walker 4-part series came up on Netflix as well. Hair oils, the first person to make hair oil. this sounds like I'm supposed to do this. Like, this is weird. Like, but I pay attention to that stuff. I don't play games with that stuff. Like, this all came out around the same time I was building. I was inception. I was a month out from launching. I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So I just took it, and also follow the money.
Yeah.
Because again, $1,000 in 10 days versus an idea that I had for months. Never took off. Never took it off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? So you sell the 100 bottles in 10 days. You even see someone online, she sells 1 million in 8 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm doing this. Talk me through what happens next.
Okay, so a lot of you will be watching and seeing this show for the first time. And so I wanted to ask for a quick favor, and that's to subscribe to the channel. And if you do, the promise that I'll make is we're going to take everything that we do here to the next level. That means scale the guests, scale the storytelling, the production, every little detail of what makes this show great so that we bring you an even better experience. You hit that subscribe button, we make this show better for you. Do we have a deal? Let's get back to the show.
We launched a brand. So about a month later, June 2020, we launched a brand. And I decided to start documenting it on Twitter. So I had an audience on Twitter, but I decided not to use it. So I had a feeling people would be like, oh, you're only successful because of this. Like, you've leveraged an audience you already had. So what I decided to do is document the journey on Twitter, but actually on Instagram, that's where it was marketing the brand. But I didn't really know Instagram that well. Like, it wasn't what it is now. Like, I used to, like, post a few pics here and there, but, like, it wasn't what it is. So I was, like, learning all of that. And at the time as well, we were getting before and after pictures from the initial 100 people. So we're now starting to see the transformations: hair fuller, beard fuller, hair, better quality, all of that stuff. So piecing together these before and after pictures and transformations, I was really researching the science of hair as well. So I was just showing that. But then I also realized I'd already found a gap in the market with the hair space, because skincare was in heavy education when it came to skincare and the steps and the ingredients for each step and all of that stuff. And hair, no one knew how to take care of their hair. Like, everyone needed so much information. So I was like, well, this is easy. And then barely anyone was a transformational brand, helping people grow their hair and actually tackle their issues. 2. And then 3, like, I'm just shameless. So I was like DMing people like, hey, I just started this business. Like, you might not care, but, like, if you do, here you go. Like, I remember launching the brand and we did 4K on our first day, and I just looked at that and I was just like, what the actual hell did I just do? I made £4,000 on the first day. That's sick. Like, that's so cool. Like, shipped those orders out, then recalled and got the next production ready, and then I was working on other products as well. In 2 months, we had 3 products. By the end of 2020, we had 4 products. Like, it was just like, we were going. Like, why not? It was just a why not season. It was just like, let's go, let's keep on rolling. Let me make sure my creativity's there. I mean, I was working dog hours. I was young though, 23, so I had the energy, I had the sprint, but we was just like, yeah, let's do it, man. Like, I'm saying it was me. I was like, again, I'm trying to chase that 1 million in 8 minutes. So let's go. Like, I was really excited. And then again, along the way, passing the gems. And there was a Black Pound Day at the time as well, which was a very interesting initiative, off of the back of George Floyd and helping people buy black. That also was something, that was one of the only things I leveraged on Twitter. So every time that would come around, it'd be like, oh, let's do a trail of small black businesses that we can support that Saturday. And I would be DMing people and I'd be posting pictures and transformations and guys, here's my, like, I was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to put this out. And it worked every time we posted about it, every time we showed a transformation, every time I shamelessly made a video that I sucked at editing at, we got more, we pushed more, we further, and we made 100K in 5 months.
Yeah. You know, we're going to get to it. I want to start with those initial kind of like belief moments, because I think belief like builds over time.
It does.
And you sell £4,000 worth of product in 24 hours. because I think that there's someone that's listening that they have a product, and it might be hair care, it might be like a cream, like a moisturizer, it might be like cupcakes, whatever it is, and they have a few friends that love it, and then they try and broaden it out and actually sell it, and it doesn't have that same resonance. Talk me through almost like, what was that launch plan? Like, did the marketing solely consist of kind of these transformations that you were talking about from the first 100 orders that you had? When you look back with hindsight, what got you that first £4,000 worth of orders? Like, what were the needle movers?
Needle movers were shamelessness. Like, generally, it was just post, spread, pray. It was a mixture of the transformation, mixture of education. So that was both like video from me, but also static images. That was just showing the process, the ingredients. I also had a copywriting background, so words was wording. Okay, I was on my shit. Okay, we built the website. We had gifts. Like, I remember, like, one of my dear friends, Dan. We went out like middle of Essex shooting. The bottles of inches in the field with the tree, and just to illustrate. And at the time we were called Planted, and it was just cool, man. Like, I just did whatever it took. So whether it was just DMing complete strangers, getting those initial 100 to become repeat purchasers, we were just doing everything. I was just doing everything I could to make it work. But also at the same time, like, I felt like I didn't do much either. Like, as much as that sounds like a lot, it actually wasn't. Like, I spent most of my time making the product. I was filming the process of making the product as well. Again, I was getting these clues from, looking at these businesses. Like, I was seeing how some people were marketing their brands, and I was like, okay, cool. Let me take a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that. Like, because still like an artist, right? Like, there's other industries that were inspiring me. So it was just amalgamation of all of that. Like, the beginning really is just like, okay, number one, if something is working, follow it. Like, imagine if I was like, oh, okay, I sold those 100 bottles and then went right back to the skincare brand. Like, I would just be like, sorry, that doesn't make any sense. But momentum, once you hit momentum, because it's already hard to get that. Once you get momentum, ride it till the wheels fall off, because it's hard to get it again. It's hard to stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. It's easier to just drive a car when it's not stopped. Stopping and starting a car, you can't get 70 miles an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's so important to share the context of, like, you were shameless and you were doing so many things, because I think a lot of the times, especially in this country, we post about the thing once and then we're like, oh yeah, they know. Like, no, they don't. They don't know.
Science tells you that someone needs to see a piece of marketing 7 times before considering. Now, there might be other channels that allows you to build trust with a customer quicker, where that 7 times of awareness drops down to maybe 3 or 2. But in general, 7 times. Like, you need to be on someone's bum. Like, you need to be like, come on, like, this is my thing. Please, 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 please. Look at it. But in a desperate way, in a very attractive way, but also communicates the value of your product, whatever it is. But I learned that very early on in marketing. And it only got more difficult in the best way, because it means it stretched my creativity, allowed me to become a better marketer and creative for my brand.
Yeah. You know what I love? You said, yes, I was marketing it everywhere, but I wasn't actually doing that much. I'm assuming what you're referring to is you had a product that hit, that like resonated. Mm-hmm. That's what you mean.
Yeah, because quality, and here's the thing about brands in the UK, right? I think, and this is not me saying any other country doesn't focus on quality, but one thing about Brits is that we're stingy as hell. Like, we need like 15 times better than everyone. Like, there's just something about quality, and you need to make sure your product is doing what it said it does, or even better than what customers expected. And I think for us, we did 2 things. Number one, we did a 90-day money-back guarantee from the start, because if people weren't seeing results, well, then what was the point? The whole point was people would see a transformation with the product. So if they're not seeing a transformation, they can get the money back, and we're fine losing that money. Now, you'd be surprised how many people didn't actually leverage it, because more time, they know they just stopped using it and they weren't consistent. But again, we were empowered to give the people who leveraged that offer back, because like at the end of the day, these people deserve results, and they deserve a brand that cares about their success more than the brands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're customer first, you have a brand for life. If you're brand first, pack it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's it's funny because I was telling you before this that I've been using Plantmade, I want to say for at least over a year, probably the last 18 months. And the way that I found out about it wasn't through your marketing. It was through product quality. It was word of mouth. Someone told me that use this. And I did. And I kept using it. And I've ordered bottles and bottles. You know what? Another tweet that you wrote, you said, I took my business from $0 to $100,000 in 5 months. At home, in my bedroom, in my kitchen. Then I took it from 100,000 to 1 million in a year. Can you just like, I just want to go down memory lane. Can you, I just want to give the context that you start this with £100 in lockdown.
Yeah.
A few months before, you've been fired from a recruitment job.
Yeah.
Where you've been kind of made to feel like useless.
Yep.
And you build this company, first 5 months, you hit 100,000, which is already, I'm sure that's like
Epic.
surreal.
It's epic. It was sick.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, okay. I've never seen 100K before in my life. I'd never seen that before in my life. My first Black Friday, I remember showing my mum. We made 30K that day. And I just showed my mum. My mum just lit up and she was just like, oh my God. And I was like, Mum, like this is so special because this is from my mind. Like, what the hell? Like, I can't believe I thought about a thing and I did the thing and then the thing, it made 30K. What an experience.
Yeah.
It was so cool to show like the family that, and like to show, well, even if this thing crashes and burns, like try, because you don't know where you end up.
Yeah. You felt like a pride in that moment.
I did. I felt like it was necessary for me to break the barriers in my head that I had grown up with, because I actually only grew up in my head, and I'm not saying it was any fault of anyone. I just didn't have an exposure to more options, alternatives. There was no, it was just job, married, baby, bye. Like it was just that. Like, and I didn't want that, you know? And so when I discovered, you know, the world of business, and my brother is actually the reason why I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that book, all it did was just give me options. I never had option alternative. I never had that. That book gave me that. And then it was like 3 years later to realize that option. Like, this is the option. Like, this is the alternative. It's possible. Like, so I sit here today like, well, it's not like I'm going back. It's just, well, we're going to a next alternative. We're going to a next option.
Yeah, like bigger possibilities.
Exactly.
You know what? I read your mum helped you a lot with the business, right?
Yeah, so she fell in love with the business. She really did. And I think it was just mainly because the brand just ultimately helped people, but it helped her. Like, my mum was 60, her hair was falling out, her medication was making her hair fall out. She was older, you know, deeper into menopause, and she just, obviously, like, as you age, you have to reinvent yourself as well. Like, you're not young anymore. So, like, you have to, like, what's the new version of me that I have to fall in love with? And thankfully, the Plantmade products allowed for her to fall in love with herself again and feel confident in her own skin. And it was really beautiful to serve the older market, because they were very open and honest when we met them. They also fell in love with it as well. So it was really cool to channel the older generation through my mum and her story. It was really, really cool to do that.
Yeah. I can tell even from the way that you speak, it's like not only was at that point in time, it was meaningful for you, it was like meaningful for your family.
Yeah.
And so you hit this 100,000 milestone. I'm sure, like, what's your mindset at that point? Are you thinking about the 1,000,000 in 8 minutes? Like, in terms of your aspiration?
That was always in the back of my mind, because you can't see that and be no more.
You can't unsee it, yeah.
I was like, no, but she was younger than me. She was 18.
Wow.
I was like, what? Like, no, there's no way. And it's not like a beef thing, like, oh, she's better than me. No, she's showing. I don't get jealous.
Yeah.
I don't get jealous. Like, I see people do stuff and I'm like, okay, permission. Like, okay, evidence. Like, that's why I'm going to do it, because I just saw this person do it. Like, that's how I see it. And that's what it's been like from the beginning. So I was like, well, okay, this is not 1,000,008 minutes, but okay, I really want 1,000,000 in a year. Can we do 1,000,000 in a year? But that meant that 7 months was 900K. 7 months making 900. How does that equation work? But the beautiful thing about momentum and compounding is that is how it was achieved. Like, we did, in fact, do 900K in 7 months. So I decided after Christmas, January, I was like, okay, cool. I identified all the things that I needed to do. Again, I'm learning as I'm going. I've never done this before. So I'm like, okay, cool. I hired a customer service person because I'd done everything. I was literally doing everything. I called on people here and there to help me make the products, but I was doing everything. I just couldn't do it anymore. I analyzed where I needed to outsource and where I needed to remain. Customer service was one of the things that was draining me and affecting my mental health. I'm an empath, so when I hear bad news, it's not good. So like, this is like, I'm the cause of this because I made this thing. I can't do that by. So I got a beautiful person to handle that. Then I got my husband to sort out the manufacturing. And then I also started to build a team to make the products. I felt like there was no value in me making the products. I thought there was value in me formulating new products. I felt like there was value in me maintaining marketing and assisting in the sales process of the business, but not doing everything myself. So that was like one of my main things. The ambition did come with structure. It wasn't just, let's do the 900K, let's get to 1,000,000. It was, okay, well, what is the environment that allows for this goal to be achieved? And so it was not only that process of expanding the team, it was also taking some risks. It was working with some influencers, Harry Panero, Nella Rose, entertaining new marketing channels, whilst also, of course, doing the very thing that we do, launching some new products. We did do a price increase as well. That was interesting. We had to save ourselves because people were like, you're stealing from us, and we're like, no, actually we charged way too little. So yeah, because all of these products are very highly produced. So that was like the process of legitimizing the business. And it wasn't just me in my kitchen anymore. It was us in a storage unit, then warehouse, 6,000 square foot warehouse with a team, with me, a leader. I'm the CEO. I was a CEO technically, and we made a mill. And then I got cease and desist.
We're gonna get into it. So in the span of 7 months, you make 900,000.
Yep.
And it's interesting because naturally, as a business and as a CEO, as the business is scaling, you have to stop doing certain things and start focusing in certain areas. And one of the things that's so fascinating, right, about your business and your story is you build a product that, if we're just being real, people don't typically get super excited about, like hair oil or like these sorts of products. But in your case, it's like oversubscribed. Like, you have so much demand that, like, when you're dropping this stuff, it's like selling out, or you have so much pent up demand. And to me, that speaks to the marketing, the product quality, the brand that you're building. I'm just thinking about the entrepreneurs at home. What are some of the things that you're doing in that time that is so impactful that every time you launch a new product or like you restock, it's instantly going out of stock again? Like, what is creating such like a potent demand for your product?
I think, again, I think seeing like an artist is super important, right? Because you have to manufacture demand. So I'm not a creator, so I didn't start with an audience. Again, if you are a creator, entrepreneur, start with an audience. That's the first thing, because demand will be the first thing. Launching to nobody is horrendous. You don't want to start your business and no one cares about it, and you have to build the attention, the audience, and the brand awareness. Start it before. Now, I did it to a certain degree for like a month, 2 months, but like nowhere near where I would do it again, starting again. That's the number one. Number two is that, so with manufacturing the demand, we were only in stock twice a month. This allowed for not only generation of demand, people were like, wait, what's this thing everyone's talking about? And then people are posting their results and people are talking about the products, the quality of the product, but no one can get their hands on it. And people are like, okay, they're on the wait list, and then like it will drop and then we'll shut off. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I missed the drop. Can I shop it? I'm like, no, you have to just wait until the next drop. But this also allowed for us to streamline to a certain degree our operations, because again, we were a baby business. We didn't know what we were doing. So allowing us to capture that demand, to service those customers with the products, then go back, rebuy, the raw materials we need to reproduce. Like that was basically what we did for 2.5 years. It was so important that we did that because we didn't have that much capital up front. So I couldn't spend money on marketing. And that is what that capital would have been. If I had capital in the beginning, maybe I wouldn't have done drops, but that means I would have had to pay to be seen.
The Amma that's sitting before me today, if you could almost go back in time and have like a conversation with the Amma in that first year, that's kind of like doing all the things and trying all of the things, I'm like, would you have a word of advice or something that you would tell her in terms of just where to focus?
Is if there's any way you can find Brits doing very well, any British founders doing very well in a similar niche or similar experiences, please do find them, because we relied a lot on like some of the fastest growing businesses for advice. However, they're in the US. They have different tools and different systems, and we were building 2 businesses in one. Manufacturing is a very cash intensive, cash flow tight business, and then we're building an e-commerce brand on top of that. That was a very difficult experience to juggle. And don't get me wrong, again, we were cash flowing, we had the margins to do so, but again, with bootstrapping, what that means is that you have very few mistakes you can make before you're done. If you have investment, or if you have more capital up front, you buy yourself some time and you buy yourself more mistakes. If you don't have that, then your mistakes margin is very slim. But guess what? The very thing that makes every business is all the failed experiments learned from. So it's a very weird, it was a very weird experience. I can't say to my old self, don't do this and don't do that. Like the story is the story is the story, However, I wish I could have got a hold of, some successful founders early on. Because it was only until like year 4 that I even really started to build my network of peers and also people I look up to in the business space. But it's because I had to earn my spot. But it's just hard to pay the cost of not knowing what to do as a first-time founder. It's just tough. But
Yeah, pay the cost of not knowing. You know what? We spoke about that moment that you have with your mom when you make 100K, and it's like this special moment for you personally, but then also just for your family, and it's like a surreal moment. And I'm curious, the next 7 months you go to 1 million. What is the next surreal moment? Like, even when you think back to it, is there an experience which was just like, you're just on cloud 9?
I mean, the mill, because I'd written it in my journal. I used to script quite a lot. So I was like writing the future as if it was today. So 6 months before that, I was like, I'm so grateful to God that I've made 1 million in a year and the team is growing, and all we're doing is just helping people with their hair and their problems and with the power of plants. And we just continue to grow this business and all of this stuff. And I just read back when we hit that mill, and I'm like, I wrote that down 6 months ago. Like, that's really cool. That I date everything, and I can look back now and still see that and just be like, that happened. And then more than 10x of that happened as well. So I look at that, but also it was very tumultuous that first year, because then we experienced a very, very difficult legal situation where we have to rebrand, shut down for 3 months, and completely obliterate all the momentum we had built.
Yeah.
All those creators that we'd worked with, we just have to like abandon that content because of different brand, different logo, different all of that. Have to like start again. We have a BBC documentary happening all whilst we're rebuilding. We come back. 3 months after, and our worst sales day is like broadcast live across the nation. And it's just like, struggle. Oh my God. Like we had the momentum to start again. We have to like build it back up. Difficult. So there's so many times I felt like our momentum has stop, start. It was a bit hard. Like some brands can say they just had steady growth, and it's not like we were overly ambitious. It's just life happened, you know, or the cost of doing business for the first time is also that, because I didn't know about trademark, and I didn't know any of it. If I did, we would have never went through that.
Yeah.
And we would have just kept on.
The cost of not knowing.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like fascinating to hear, because you get to this point where you're basically living in like a divine manifestation. Like the thing that you prayed about and you wrote down is now your reality. And then you even write this in your tweet. You said, in July, I was handed a cease and desist for my brand. So it's like just the emotional roller coaster is like you're at the pinnacle, like cloud 9, and then instantly brought down to earth. You get handed this letter, this cease and desist.
By my mom.
By your mom. What is your feeling in that moment?
I could have given up. I could have just been like, you know what, I can't be us. But then I also was like, well, momentum, and this is here, and okay, we have enough money to fight this, and okay, let's do a closing down. Now, what I really should have done, like this is one of the main things I should have done, should have come back a lot earlier. Closed down, should have come back a lot earlier. We took a bit too much time off, but also we had to recall of the products, repackage it and stuff. Like at the end of the day, we hadn't finished the packaging and all of that. So like at the end of the day, like my head was scrambled. And the thing for me is like, sometimes it's like when something dramatic happens, it's very hard for me to like get back quick. I need time. But like, unfortunately, that time I took to like even think of a new name, Plantmade and all of that stuff, came at the cost of like getting back on track quick, you know, because like there was a few other brands that went through a similar thing. They like basically transitioned into their new names a lot faster than us, and kind of, it didn't feel, again, I don't know, but it didn't feel like they had such a like a down, or like they had to rebuild themselves as much as we did. Like I felt like we really like saw a 50% drop in sales. Everyone was even calling us Planted still for like 3 years. Like when a brand name, once it's there, and again you go through that cease and desist process, it's tough. Like it's hard for that customer to associate it with the new name, because like that name is there. So like, you know, naming and labels is incredibly important. And I couldn't believe how difficult it was for people to find us again. It was like literally starting again. It was tough.
Yeah.
So tough.
Did you have doubts? Like whether you'd ever get back to what you were before?
No. I was like, okay, hard, but we'll get back. I don't know how long. I hope it's not that long, but we'll get back.
And what was fueling that belief?
This can't be the end.
Like your story just wouldn't end
This
like
can't
that.
be the end. And I just made new products as well. I just made a couple of new products, which will eventually become one of our best sellers. At the time it wasn't, but I made sure that it would, because I believed in the product. So I was like, I just made this really amazing shampoo bar. Like there's no way, like we're done here. So like, okay, cool, have it now. It's going to be a bit of a struggle, but watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove that this brand deserves to be here and deserves to stay.
Yeah. You said you were going to make sure, like you were adamant.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. This is going to be a great product. I just need to figure out how. They're like, oh, how are you making these bets? It's like, no. But the intuition and taste comes from understanding your customer to a T. This was not just woo-woo. This was data. Like I had enough data, and I was obsessed with the psychology of our customers, that I knew where trends were going, where people were going, where I needed to be, and how we needed to pivot.
You know what? You get to the point, you get this cease and desist. You take 3 months out, you relaunch, you go through some difficult times. You then have this kind of like meteoric rise to being like an 8-figure business. And like, talk to me about that rise. Like, what was, like, just that whole period of time? You become one of the fastest growing businesses in the UK. You're on the Sunday Times list. Like, talk to me about that period of time.
It's a lot of like attempting to legitimize the brand and the business, you know, hiring people, firing people, you know, getting brand agency owners in. Maybe some people weren't so helpful. Okay, transitioning those people out and help, you know, finding new partners, you know, okay, letting go of email marketing, letting go of ads, and okay, me focusing more on creative. And but also in my head, it's like, well, still consuming everything I can. But as you get to the top of the mid 7 figures, 8 figures, information's not as readily available as it used to be, because loads of people on the internet focused so much on the beginning, there wasn't enough in the middle. And I'm really passionate about the middle, because I'm like, this is where people are left to die. This is where people are left to die. And if you don't have good counsel, if you don't have good processes, and if you are already having a difficult business, how are you supposed to get to that next level? We didn't have any investors. Again, we had very, very finite amount of counsel, but that was coming from the US. So tactically, from a marketing perspective, we can do loads of things. From a structural basis where we're building the business to scale, that was a bit finicky, because every time we'd run into a great solution for something, US only, US only, US only, US only. I felt way more weight on my shoulders, because with those numbers, you're getting like 5 million, you know, in revenue. You're getting to that point, like, this is becoming substantial. Like, this ain't a small feat. Like,
Yeah.
I think only like 2 or 4% of brands reach a mil.
Yeah.
Like, in the world, like, businesses do not reach a mil. So you're in the 4%. And like, okay, in the world, like, that's dramatic. You know what I mean? And again, being a first-time founder, you're just like, well, okay, I really want to scale this. I want to scale this properly. So I'm like reading these books and stuff. But like, I'm also young. I'm making decisions maybe slower than I should. I'm not taking bets that I should. There was a few things that we discovered that we were just so good at, like storytelling and marketing, how we marketed the product. Of course, product development, we knew we ate that up. Maybe we should have had a few more products out. But the storytelling of them, like, the reason why I was talking about bets earlier is because, again, that shampoo bar, that conditioning bar that we had, it was a year and then it blew. All because I made a video. So I'd spotted a few brands kind of encouraging storytelling behind the scenes, documenting, being, front-facing founder, all of this stuff, and sharing the idea of why they started their businesses. And I was looking at it and I was like, the US and the Canadians, they're doing something interesting. Most people aren't doing it here. How do I do that? It took me a while to figure that out, which is even, again, time. Business is time. I should figure it out earlier. But again, I'm in the weeds of this. So I make a video and it blows. 300,000 views on a brand account. 2023? People ain't doing that. Yeah. People ain't doing that. Okay, it blows. It goes everywhere. I heard people's investors were sending it to their brands. Like, do this. This was incredible. Like, we blew up. We ran ads to that. We blew up. But we also made mistakes. Yeah. We had some offers that we did that were great on paper, but, you know, economics-wise, rubbish. Rubbish. We spent 15 grand on shipping the next day. We made 50 grand. Okay, well, take home, make the products. You're not taking home anything. All these experiments, again, remember, bootstrapped. You have a small margin of error. If you had to estimate that one video that you guys did that completely blew up, the 300,000, then you're running ads to all of it. If you just had to estimate, how much would you say, like, the value of that to the brand at that time? Like, how much did that make? $1 million. Wow. I think that video alone made us $1 million. Wow. Categorically. You know, around that point in time, and you even mentioned, you start taking on investors so that you can, like, scale the business and grow. So not investors, but we take on options of finance. Yeah.
You start taking on
Yes.
options of finance.
Yeah.
And even as the business is scaling and you're starting to hit mid seven figures, and even just externally, like celebrities are starting to are using your products.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned Bukayo Saka. I'm an Arsenal fan,
Yeah.
so that's a big thing.
That was cool to find out.
Starboy.
Yeah.
Tamar, Braxton, Flo, like everything externally, it's like I was even reading online, like the conversation around your brand, it's like such a good, like a feel good story of like someone that the community and like the culture is rooting for and has like managed to build this brand.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you even said earlier, I wonder if did that contradict what was actually happening internally? Because you mentioned earlier, you said that there was 2 points that you got a panic attack. There was one just before you left the recruitment job, and then one just before you broke up from your business. Was there a contradiction between the external success and then internally what was happening for you?
Yeah, so I was internally, there were so many things that happened out of our control. So in 2023, when again we hit our highest revenue figure, we also had those finance options just completely bust. Like they went through their own issues, they pulled back, and this was not the plan. Like we were only a few months into leveraging this financial operation, and then cash that we depended on was gone, and we've bet all these numbers, we bet our strategy on these numbers, and where do we go? So we look for other finance, but it's very aggressive, so we're paying this financing off so aggressively, but then we've got our margins are being squeezed because we're paying debt, but that money that we borrowed was supposed to fuel growth, but we have to pay it back. So we were just like, yo, like this is a mad world, like where we at? And we're trying to still hit our goals, and then like our ingredients, like our raw materials doubled. Like some of our key raw materials doubled in price. And how do you anticipate for all of that happening at the same time? So where the money went from this to this, and I put my all into Plantmade. The unfortunate part sometimes of building a brand is that with the category we were in, it was almost like everyone's best kept secret. So as much as word of mouth was there and important and stuff, we only saw a very small segment of that actually translating into sales. There's a lot of people that said they knew about us, that had bought us at a time. They may not have been regular customers, or they may have not even tried the products, which was, again, very difficult because, sometimes it was a mismatch. It was like, okay, so what's going to get you over the line? And that's not a problem for the customer. That's obviously for the brand to figure out. But it was like a very difficult dance because some people didn't give us enough data for us to understand how to transform them into actual paying customers. Sometimes it just felt like a cultural piece, but culture don't pay bills. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you've got cultural figures using the products, but maybe other categories will be flamboyant in showing. But beauty specifically, people are very particular with how they show beauty up. Like people will wear free clothes and post on Instagram, but they won't use a beauty product and post that for free. Like I don't know what it is about the category, but it's just like money or nothing.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So it was a bit difficult again for a small business to participate in that. We gave a lot of products away for free to try and seed, to try and get people to experience the products and stuff. So we tried so many different things. But again, as a small business, it was very hard when some of these experiments didn't pay off. So probably towards the end of my time at Plantmade, it was just getting to the point where, again, alignment was done. I did not feel aligned anymore. Especially with the external partners that come in now into the business and of course own it. It was getting to the point where I could have walked away myself as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But
I,
yeah,
I can see the expression on your face as you talk about it.
yeah,
And November 3rd of 2025, you said, I never thought I'd have to make this statement, but here we are.
yeah.
After 5 unforgettable years, my chapter with Plantmade has come to a close. What started as an idea in my childhood home with £100 became the best outcome I could have ever imagined. To everyone who's ever used a drop of oil, joined our team, shared our story, or believed in me, thank you. You made this real. Even when I just read that out, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel proud, because generally it was best years of my life. I think I turned into an incredible person, honestly. Someone I can be proud of, someone who sacrificed even at the expense of themselves. Like, I sacrificed at the expense of myself. I put everyone first. Because the process of the business, once things were really getting difficult, I could have just shut down and like minded my business. Like, I wanted to serve the customers. I wanted to serve my team. I wanted to make sure they had a job to go to. I wanted to make sure the customers had continuity and could just buy the products even if I'm not there anymore. I wanted to make sure this could exist, So that's the path I took. But what I wanted to do, with the original arrangement was to still lead, and still have that vision, finally realize that potential. It's unfortunate. That's my biggest heartbreak, is that Plantmade never became what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be so much more than it is now, and it will never be that, So that's sad, but what I leave behind is, and with that statement, the outpour of love that came with it was just an acknowledgement of we really were one of the few who broke some serious barriers, in Black business and business in general. And I just hope that I really wanted any aspiring entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs, I don't want them to be sad or heartbroken seeing this, or feel like this should maybe put them off, continuing their journey in building. I think it's more of a, guys, we all have one life. Most first businesses don't bang. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, please don't let this stop you. And I sure as hell won't let this stop me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a sadness? Because, and I get this as an entrepreneur. I get that I'm the entrepreneur and the leader and like the mindset and everything that it takes to achieve what you have achieved. I understand and knowing the sacrifices. I understand the pride that you take in that. But am I the human being? Is there a period of sadness?
Of course. Oh, I grieved. Again, like, you had a vision, you had a future. This was 5 years. Like, people call their businesses their babies. And, someone actually illustrated it a little bit better. I feel like it wasn't my baby. I feel like it was someone was like, it's like almost like you're in a relationship, like you're dating and you're seeing if you can like marry this thing, and like it's very similar to that. That's why I called it a business breakup. It felt like a relationship. I didn't feel like it was a part of me, like I birthed this baby. I felt like it was alongside me. I was growing alongside the business, and we have our journey together and our relationship with one another. But I am not the business, and the business is not me. As much as people thought that, because I was a front-facing founder, I did feel like I was the business for a hot second. I snapped right back out of that, because if anything went bad with the business, then I'd just be on the floor. Like, I'd just be like, eh. But the person really, I was like, yo, what the hell am I going to do now? The future is bright, but it is wide, and that's confusing. I'm a person who likes to know what the next step is. Like, the next step got ripped from me, so like, what do we do now? That was the biggest confusion, and I was like almost trying to figure it out really fast. But the initial thing that I did, I just met up with loads of my founder friends, people I really look up to in business and in life, and just spoke to them.
Yeah.
Just told them the story, and they were giving me so much encouragement, and there was a few directions to go to, and just embracing the season, and yeah. So as much as I was really sad and grieved, I also was like a little bit liberated, because I was just like, this was toxic as hell, and I'm so glad I'm out of that. Like this just that partnership just went to shit, really. So like it just was not working, and I'm just energy is really important for me, and I could just feel myself like just being very angry, and just like it was so much friction. And alignment again.
You were misaligned.
It's so important that, yeah. I remember I actually recorded a voice note on my phone on the 29th of September. And I looked back at it and I can hear myself and I'm like, I don't know how long this is going to last. And I'm like, wow, how did I spot that? And I was like, it's because I could feel the same thing as 5 years ago. So I'm liberated, because I'm like, ooh, I'm a now. Knowing what I know, with all the experience, with all the great friends that I've made along the way, can go again with such clarity and such evidence, that I just never had before. Which comes with its like complications, because like you also know too much. Like naivete was a great part of the strategy, being a first-time founder, because when you know too much, like it's almost like what podcast was it? It's the Founders podcast. David Senra was talking about it, and he was talking about how, like, I think it was Henry Ford, if like one of the ways to like destroy your enemies is to fill that company with a bunch of experts. Like experts can kill a business, kill a thing, because they know so much about what not to do. But it's like, it's not about what not to do only. It's about doing, and you can not know what to do, that you scare yourself off from actually
you
taking
become
action.
fearful.
Exactly. So that is now where I'm treading. It's like, oh, do I know too much? Like, oh no. Like, I've really seen the whole life cycle of a business start to end. I really hope I don't fall into that trap. So what I'm doing now is like, especially the start of Q1, after I finish all my commitments for the year, is to just really take time to like recenter, regroup, and then go again.
Yeah. You know what? You post that post on November 3rd, 2025. You get so much love and support.
3 million views.
3 million views.
Absolutely insane.
Thousands and thousands of likes. I'm even looking in the comment section, like some of the people that are commenting. Coming out of that, are there certain conversations or people that reached out that it was just incredibly meaningful to you?
There was I mean, like almost every single one of my founder friends was just like, yo, because this is our worst nightmare, just to let you know. Like the whole investor story debacle, like that is everyone's nightmare. So everyone's like, I can only imagine, because if it was me, and again, it's not the end of the world once you actually experience the worst thing that could happen. Like I'm still here. I'm like blood pumping. Like we're fine. I had good food earlier. Like I'm fine. But obviously we're 2 months out now of the incident. But I mean, I think about like Tim Campbell, Rochelle Humes. I think about Crept and Code. No, Crept specifically. Yeah, I got so many messages. It was just incredible to hear from some people, because I was just like, whoa, like again, this is just what came from my head. Like hearing Crept say like, you inspired me. I was just like, what? I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? Like, hello, you're a rapper, like serial business person, entrepreneur, like, all of this stuff, what you're talking about. But inspiration doesn't look one way. Everyone can be inspiring if they try. And the world really celebrates, well, some worlds, I definitely say America definitely is a world that celebrates those who try. I've got some American founders that like dropped to me and just like, you are absolutely an inspiration, and like, do not let this stop you. Do not let. And then a lot of people are just like, oh, we can't wait to see what's next. And the thing about that is like, I can't wait to see what's next as well. But for a hot second, I was like, oh, this is a bit of a pressure. Like, So I have to blow the next thing. And I'm like, but I do. And it's not because of them. It's just because I will. Like, I will blow.
Yeah,
Like,
that's who you are.
that's who I am. Exactly. So it's just about centering myself to get to the point where I can actually execute at that level to blow again in whatever blowing capacity that looks like now. Like, creator world, business world. But again, like, super grateful for the journey. And again, with no experience, no investors at the time, no knowledge, no anything, can build a £30 million business. Well, ciao. With some connections, some knowledge. What can we do now? So I'd love to see what intention from the start, with the end in mind, looks like from me. I'm really happy to not be a first-time founder again, if I'm being brutally honest. But the beautiful thing about first-time founders is they have more information than ever before on the internet on how to build and scale business.
You know what? I wanna read the last few lines of that post, because as I was reading it, it's like inspired, right? Like, you said, to every founder and aspiring founder, pay the cost of success. Try, attempt, and fail your way to your goals. It's the only way forward. I'll be back soon documenting what's next for me. Your founder friend, Amo. Can you just tell me, like, where are you when you're writing this? So, like, what is even the context of, like, how that comes together?
Bro, I'm in my bed and I was like, okay, as soon as I post this, I need to go to the gym, because there is absolutely no way I can be in this house. I need to get out of here. And it did exactly that. Like, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I did not look at anything and I was in the gym. But I was just in my bed and I was like that was not PR'd at all. Like, it was just like, I need to write captions. So I put it in my notes and I was just like, ooh, like, I was so scared. I was so scared to see, everything. And it's just like, it's just very dramatic. I mean, again, I could not have anticipated 3 million views, but I was just like, this is going to get some attention. This is dramatic. I hate drama, but this is what it is. Like, and I just needed to make sure everyone knew, like, I was no longer a part of this. If anything is going on with that brand now, it has not had anything to do with me for a while. But I just needed some time between between when it happened. I just needed a bit of time. Also, I got married as well, like a couple of weeks after. So I just needed a bit of time. Because I'm a very drama-free person. I never was really in the tabloids. Like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just like documenting my little journey, building my business and going about my business. That's what I was doing. So this was very like, whoa,
Yeah.
And of course it went on Shadeborough and it went on other news outlets and stuff. And the Times reported on it and all of that stuff. And Rash, it was a bit of a dramatic afterblow,
Yeah.
because unfortunately not all facts were told in some of these articles, and there's a narrative being painted that, like, the reason why this happened is because we ran the business into the ground. I was just like, I really appreciate that. There's a lot of things that happened outside of our control. So what do you do when things happen outside of your control? Let's say you're walking and some car just speeds and hits you. When you tell that person after they're in hospital, do you tell them, oh, well, this is your fault because you're walking on the street? Or say something a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah.
And again, like, people can say what they say and the real ones will know what happened. But it's not my place to argue with people in line about things they just don't understand.
Yeah.
I can allow people to just have conversations amongst themselves about what they think happened and how they think this business got to this point. I already revealed in this conversation the real start of our very difficult financial journey was because, a creditor just ruined the deal, and just the cash flow that we were relying on was just pulled from us, just like that, and we scrambled to stay alive.
Yeah. It actually reminds me of something that Mel Robbins says, which is let them. Sometimes you just have to let them believe whatever they're gonna believe.
Yeah.
You know what? I think your story is so powerful because you have like this. I don't think we've had anyone on the show that has epitomized this more. You just have such a like a rebirth story. And there's like these very clear junctures in your life where you reached a certain point and it's like the Amma at that time had to die, like it had to go for you to be rebirthed as someone new and reinvent yourself and restart your life. And it was, and I don't know how intentional it was on your part, but it's like the Amma that came back, the new Amma was always better than what came before.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking to myself, when I was at home, I was just like, I think that's one of the most powerful things that people can learn from you. And so I want to go deeper into that reinvention and that rebrand and that restart because you're someone that does it and you hit the ground running, it seems, every time. And I'm sure that there's a lot that goes into that. When you think about rebirth or reinvention or rebranding, I'm so big on like step one.
Step one.
Like, what is the step one? Like, what's the thing that you're going to do to start building momentum?
Step one. Step one is look back. We can't just jump to, I want to make 50K. I don't want to be on the times 100. Like, no. What the hell happened? What the hell happened? So it's funny because my friend Alfred Samba, he invited me to his house and we did like a 5-hour session on decoding every single year and every version of Amma existed in the years. And it was a really interesting practice because I was going to do it, but not in that way. But it allowed me to really show, okay, this is the stuff that started to pop up. This is how Amma pivoted. This is how Amma experienced this thing and changed and boom, like it was just like, my life flashed before my eyes, if you will, over those 5 hours, just talking about it. But within that, it was like, okay, so this is what I needed to learn from that situation. Shouldn't have hired that person. Should have been more bold in this scenario. I wish I was more like that, like how I am now back then. But again, that comes with age and experience and refining. So the first step is look back. Like maybe that's even step 0. Like step -1 is look back. But step 0 is actually, what do you want? Like, what do you want and why do you want it? Like, this is like, now it's like, okay, who do I want to be and why? And what do I have now? Because I do believe in, you have everything that's in your, like everything is in your hands, or you have everything you need, or start where you are. I've made loads of content around start where you are. I started where I was. I had niche. I had no reason to start with £100. There's no reason why. So many people raise capital, family and friends, all of this stuff. I actually did it on purpose. I was like, this is going to be a legendary story, I think. So the little I start with, the better, because people are going to see my story and they're going to be like, oh, she was broker than I was. She was in a worse position than I was. And she was able to blow up her brand, then I have no excuse. I want to give people as little excuses as humanly possible to start their brands, to start their creator journey, to start their corporate careers, whatever it is. I want people to have less excuses because I generally had privilege. I will always have privilege if I have food in my house and I have warmth and I have water and there's a lot of people that ain't got that. So I'm not going to say I'm the worst off, but there are, so those people give you perspective of the opportunity you have. But then the people who are way better give you the opportunity that, like, in spite of not having these things, I'm still going to do it. Right? So it's that duality of perspective that I always lean on to, because I will always be grateful for everything that I have. But I always know there are so many people who are in a better position than me who aren't going to do it. Just because they're going to get in their own way. And what I'm not going to do is get in my own way. Okay? So step -1, look back. Step 0, what do you want and why?
You know, I'm so happy that you started with the look back, because I think it's often missed. And I want to make it very real for people that are listening. When you're looking back, and you mentioned the 5-hour like session that you had with Alfred, is are you sitting down? Is that like a piece of paper, like you're writing it down? What
He's
is that
got a
like?
whiteboard.
Okay.
He's got two, actually. He came up with two. I'm like, where's the second one come from? Like, he just wheeled it out. I was like, damn, this house is serious. I need the kind of house like this. You know, we're overlooking the city. It's in, you know, central London. And I'm just feeling vibes. I'm like, okay, this is the best place to do it, you know? And he's grilling me. He's grilling the shit out of me. And I got a peppermint tea on the side. And I'm just like, yo, what the hell happened these last 5 years? Because I'm trying to block it out. But no, we can't block it out because this is all data. This is all data. And I just see experience. I see all of this as data. It's important to look back. It's easy to rush to, okay, let's go to the new goal. If you do not learn from your mistakes, if you do not learn from your successes, you have no success to go to. You have no success to go to because you're not living life intentionally. Intention is to reflect because there's clues. I have a sense of direction because I've left clues. I've left clues in my brand journey. I've left clues in my now creator journey, but the earlier stages of it. I've left clues in my network. I've left clues everywhere. If you do not look back, how on earth are you supposed to connect the dots? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You know, one thing, and I know this from our prior conversation, one of your superpowers is actually how you kind of like evaluate or identify and then evaluate opportunities.
Yes.
And one of the things that you spoke about right in the beginning is that initially it wasn't going to be Planted or Plantmade. It was going to be this like men's skincare brand. And then you quickly kind of saw that actually it's Plantmade that is, or Planted that is the future. I want to make this as real as possible for people because a lot of the times, and you even spoke about goals, people are kind of just pursuing the wrong things.
Yeah.
And so can you kind of walk through what is your process, your step by step of like finding opportunity, evaluating it, and then making the decision.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go all in on this.
Cool. So again, I did research and I knew skincare was difficult. So I looked at men because it was way less saturated. But do you know what's funny? Whilst I was actually doing those first initial orders for Plantmade, Planted at the time, I started to realize genderless beauty could be a thing, doing research. And then I'm also looking at human behavior. So I'm pairing all these pieces of data and then also your own little like chips on your shoulder. Like, I just have a hypothesis and I'm just going to play it out. I just was like, my brother uses everything that I have in the bathroom and he will use his wife's stuff that's in the bathroom. And my boyfriend will do anything, his boyfriend at the time, will use anything that I have and he'll wash his face with soap if he could. But no, you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, surely someone should just make one brand where everyone can use it. So that's what I did. That was the initial thing. Only to find out that everyone's like, hey, this is for men too. This is for everyone as well. I was like, I want to create something that takes over the household. I was listening to, again, the Founders Podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, and David Senera, the host, he was actually, no, it's not even that, the Founders Podcast, it's his podcast. And he was talking to James Dyson and he was just like, so I don't know what founder he was referring to, but he was like, make sure you are innovating for innovation's sake. And what I take that to be as far away from your competitors' mouths as humanly possible. Make it really hard for your customers to compare you to your competitors. That was the thing that was ringing in my head every time building Plantmade. I wanted the products to feel different, so that's why every product had different names and even had different colors and different identities because I resonate with Apple and how everything had its own name instead of X5, X3, X2. Like no, iPhone, iPad, that. Like it had its own thing, but ecosystem all worked together, but they had their own part to play. The same way I felt the same way with our SKUs. I felt the same way. And yeah, I'm very inspired by Steve Jobs and how his mind works. It's going to be scary, but I think it doesn't sound like a lot of people are students of the game to me, because it shows.
Yeah, I think there's multiple parts to it. I think what I heard is, first of all, like just your interest in the category made you a student. Like you were already kind of fascinated with it. You wanted to go deeper, and then you were actually, the thing that stands out, you were looking in a number of places. So it wasn't just actually one thing that kind of made you bullish. It was like you kind of saw inspiration from different places, and also just knowing yourself and the self-awareness. It was like, okay, there's an opportunity here, and then you also have the skills and the tenacity, the resilience and the energy to also capitalize on that opportunity and the overlap.
Yeah.
It was like perfect person, perfect time,
Yeah.
like perfect place.
Yeah.
And that all came together.
And I had an event yesterday with 2 other female founders. So my friend Annie, she runs a floral brand called Faye Flowers. And then my friend Olivia, she runs a brand called D. Louise, jewelry and florals, right? I asked all of us, just in front of the audience, to make sure, there was about 70 people in the room. I was like, have you ever done florals before this? No. Liv, have you ever done jewelry before this? No. Have I ever done beauty before and formulated beauty products? No. Second thing was, so we'd never done that before. That's number 1. Number 2, what skills did you leverage for your brand? And he was like, well, I used to work in marketing, I used to work in production and TV. So that aided me into some of the, like, she collaborates with such incredible brands, ASOS, Tala, like everyone under the sun. Like, there's so many collaborations. I'm just like, how on, like, I've never seen flowers being done like this. Like, what on earth? Like, but she's using her mind, but elevating it, right? And then Liv goes, well, mind you, like, they're an 8-figure brand now in 4 years. Liv's like, I don't have anything, but I had the will.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can arrive at the same place despite where you start. So I knew I was going to fall in love with business, but one could say, why did I take so long? And it's true, actually, because I gave myself, 3 years to get the permission to start my business. If it was only £100, I was away from starting my brand. I had that in uni.
Yeah.
I had £100 in uni. So it took me 3 years to give myself the permission to start my business.
Yeah.
Really and truly.
When you said that it took you 3 yees, I was like, that's the Ghanaian in her right there. She builds a multi-million-pound business. She's like, yeah, but I could have done it sooner.
Could have. I really could have.
You know, so we talk about kind of opportunity and going all in on the right opportunity. You know what? Before we get out of here, one of my, like, an author that I love, I call him like the godfather of marketing, is Seth Godin.
For sure.
And one of his books is called The Dip. And in The Dip, basically what he talks about is like the moment right before we become successful or people become successful, most people quit. Like, they go through this period he calls the dip. And it's in the dip is like, that's when the business dies. That's when the idea dies. That's where, like, this grand vision you have for your life, like, it dies. And so when we talk about like a rebrand or a restart or reinventing yourself, there was a post that you put on Twitter, and I just wanted you to elaborate. I just wanted you
Not
to...
my past self. Go
literally, I just wanted you to elaborate before we get out of here.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
You
I
said,
love how you're using me to read me.
yeah,
for
to read
film.
you.
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
let's do it.
It's too good.
April 5th of 2024, you said,
Okay.
you almost went back to the gym. You almost started writing again.
Mm-hmm.
You almost started a YouTube channel. You almost started a podcast. You almost started a business. You almost changed your life. You almost chased your dreams. Almost is nothing at all. Just do it. How do you even write stuff like this?
Mind you, I haven't written that kind of stuff in a minute, and I'm excited to see what my brain has with this pause. But it's true. Like, if we're being honest, like, people salivate over the thinking, the planning, it's the Pinterest boards and the mood boards and the vision boards, and this is all good until you realize that's not the thing. You haven't done the thing. Now, there is always a space for planning, always a space for preparation. It will never be more important than doing the thing as well. You must learn the balance between preparing and doing. There should not be more time, all the time spent thinking about the thing than doing the thing. So I really, I was talking about it yesterday as well. I'm talking about being shameless. Generally, we actually only have this life once. And I'm really passionate, and, hopefully we can have a conversation soon in, the US. Invite me. Where, we're talking about, momentum being built through just doing the thing. But shamelessness is incredibly important when it comes to chasing your dreams, and everyone has the opportunity to chase their goal, even if it's just committing an hour a day to their new life. But I want to see what it's like where someone is living their building their dream life whilst living their best life. And one thing people aren't doing is living their best life right now. They're just escaping their life.
Yeah, I love that. You can change your life with an hour a day.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. It's a small commitment. But again, it's this whole permission. Like, someone is waiting for God to shout down the clouds saying, there we go, this is the moment. God's not going to do that. God has placed something in your heart, and he has, because that idea came out of nowhere. But guess what? Ideas use you as much as you use them. They are only to host in a vessel, and they will go to another vessel. They will. Do you know how many times you've sat on something and then you've just seen someone do it? You're like, rah, like,
It's gone.
damn, well, it's because you left it too late, so bye. And that doesn't mean you can't go again. That doesn't mean you can't execute on that idea. Ideas are not more important. They're not more important than doing the thing. Even selling your ideas, that's still doing the thing.
Yeah. Amma, thank you so much for coming on the show. And in particular, I just wanted to say this to you. I am so excited for what you do next.
Not you again.
Because, you're going to have to come back on this show, by the way. When you do that thing next, you're going to have to come back. We're going to run this back.
Yeah, of course.
But, just the intention and the way that you move, and what I said in the beginning, that you are 100% yourself at all times. And I think that's deeply commendable.
I mean, the diamonds roughed up makes you just clear, and no one can really shift me. I've been through so much, but that only just makes me so sure of myself now.
Yeah.
So I had to go through this, but thank you so much for having me on the show. Honestly, great conversation, and see you in New York.
Yes, you're going to see me in New York. That was so good.
So if you enjoyed this conversation and you want to hear even more stories like this, then just click here. And also my team is going to put some more videos that you can watch here. Thank you.